Welcome back, everybody, to the League of Inches podcast, the Tradie show. As we debuted it last week, great feedback. Really appreciate everyone replying back to us, letting us know what they thought of the show. Loved it. Just another show to add to the League of Inches podcast channel. So just a bit more content for you guys. So I'm glad you all are really appreciating that one. So we're back for round 10, round 2 of the show. To just split up that Supercoach side of things, so we weren't having a 2.5 hour show. It works out just, I think, a bit better for everyone involved and gives you guys time to get your trades into us as well. Talking about trades, Jesse, there's been a lot happen for both parties. I've preview now and just say gone out and boosted this week, which I don't know if many people are actually doing. I have decided to do a boost, which means I'll be left with one. There's a certain player I feel like I just need to simply have in my team at the moment, and it's worthy of a boost. So, what about yourself? Let's get straight into our trades before we get into the top 10s and then everyone else's trades.
Yep.
We'll just go straight and rip the Band-Aid off. Talk to us about your trades this week, because I know there's been a couple of different variations that you sent through to me. Let's see what one you've decided on.
Yeah, so last week I kind of alluded to the plan of getting a gun hooker and just using Brayley for the one round, and I'm still leaning to it. I've got 89k in the bank. I'm looking at doing Levi to either Grant, Robson, or Marshall King, with Schiller down to Armstrong. So regardless, Schiller's going to go to Armstrong this week. It's definitely going to happen to free that cash up. But yeah, I can go Levi to any of those three hookers. Another option I had was Tuivasa Sheik out, Burbo down into my centers, and Dave Fafita in. And another one was Lockie Galvin out, straight to Cameron Munster. And then I just have Munster and Dill Brown and just ride those two out. But I think for the balance of the side, the team's looking pretty good at the moment. It's just I haven't had a good hooker all year. Honestly, I've been rolling with Lussick for majority of it, and then I got Brayley in last week for 31 points, and I think it's just time. I think it's just time to just get someone reliable. So I'm looking at doing that hooker move more than likely, and the plan was always Marshall King because of the buys and the fixtures and that, but I don't know. I just feel like with Hughes injured, no Pappenhausen, I feel like Grant's got to do it. So I am leaning that way. I didn't think I could afford him this week. I kind of factored his price out and just didn't think he was going to be an option. But now I can, and yeah, it could be Grant. I'm thinking actually, just for the sake of it, and then I'll just approach at Origin. Might trade him out to Marshall King, then just ride him out for another month. So that's where I'm at.
Big time player is making some big plays. So just another big dog to add to that team. How that is under the salary cap, I don't know. You and Tommy Sangster are obviously doing some things on the weekend that we can't talk about on this podcast, because I don't know how you've done some of the things you've done. It's ridiculous. I am absolutely outraged. But again, I applaud it. Very sensible trades that make sense. Downgrading Schiller, that looks like he's probably done his time with the Raiders now, but he's signed elsewhere, and they're starting to get their full contingent of backline players available. And we've just seen already from that Manly game how they performed. I just think he's now out of that team. So I've shown a great move as well. I did that last week to free up a little bit of money to make a move last week, so I've already got him. For me, I've gotten rid of Ryan Pappenhausen. He's just out for too long. And I've always said I want to have at least 2 gun fullbacks on pretty much at all time, barring obviously maybe 1 or 2, maybe Origin affected rounds where it's just almost stupid to get rid of someone. But I've decided to sell Pappenhausen, which means I've always had a liking about their upcoming run. Sorry, bless me, live on air, bless you. Scotty Drinkwater. I'm loving the Cowboys. They've still got a very decent run coming up. I like the fact that he won't be in Origin contention. He won't be there come the big stage. So, and I just really like what the Cowboys still. I know they're not playing great footy, but he continues to keep scoring some pretty decent points. So I really want to get onto that with the current run. Second trade, I went Morgan Smithies. We did speak about him a bit last week, and I was sort of starting to talk in myself into doing this. I've gone out of Morgan Smithies now, and the only reason I've
Mm.
gone for Smithies, I could literally. The thing is, I haven't full on set this. I could easily change last minute to Sean Lane just out of spite because I'm sick of having him, and just continually plug Smithies 50 odd points, which I'm starting to lean towards just because everyone out there knows I'm not the biggest fan of him, and I'm tired of having him in my team. And then
Yep.
I've switched whoever it is I end up deciding to. I'm going for Tallis Duncan. Now, Tallis Duncan was a pain in the ass that he wasn't named to start at lock. I thought he was a shoe-in for it. I have no idea what he's done, obviously off the field or something, or how he's been this year, but how he continually gets overlooked when there's opportunities is beyond me. But he's on the bench, so I'm going to hope just purely out of the fact that it helps me set up this next move, and I hope that he starts to get some decent minutes. Like look at Terrell May, for instance. I'm not calling him Terrell May, guys. Don't jump down me for that. But it is capable for the right players, and I believe Duncan he could be one of those players who can score decently still off the bench if he's given the right minutes. Which it's I wish I could wait and see just for 1 week to see how it unfolds, but I can't. I've got to jump on it for my next trade, which is the boost use my fourth boost. One more to go. Dallin Wateni-Zelezniak is out of my team. I can't do it anymore. I got him in for a really good run. If he goes on from here and starts to score well, I'm just going to applaud the bloke because I can't do it anymore. They've got a pretty hard run coming up. This guy who I've traded to is on fire. Killed me last weekend against Jesse. He's just leapt way ahead of me now. Jermaine Osako comes in. The money that he's going to be making over the next couple of weeks is ridiculous. Um, I genuinely believe there is a possibility he could be up right next to that $1 million mark in the next couple of weeks with just how good he's going. And they've still got a very good run. So I can see him continuing to score quite nicely. Is he going to get these 150s every week? Probably not. But I reckon he's still going to do enough and outscore Dallin Wateni-Zelezniak most weeks, 9 times out of 10, I feel like, in Supercoach.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Well, he's got the base of kicking. He's everything for that side. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, they got Herbie back. He hadn't scored too many tries while Herbie was in the side, and whether or not he plays left or right, I suppose we'll wait and see on game day. But I'm feeling pretty glad I got him last week. That was just one that I, nabbed away right at the death, and I thought, yeah, I'll take his 150 points. I ended up captaining him, so it was 300, and yeah, 100k price rise with another one to come. So yeah, it's I can't knock that move at all. Honestly, I got him for a reason, and now yourself, you're doing the same. So it's very good. I don't know about the Tallis Duncan thing. Obviously, it allows you to make the trade that you're after. So like I can kind of allow that, but I don't know. I'd hate to be boosting for a bench, lock that has a break even of 40, which he might not even hit. I know it's just, to make the trade happen. And if you don't get a Zarko now, you're kind of not going to at all, I think. If you don't jump on now, next week he's 850 maybe,
Not
and
not doing it.
then potentially, 950, and we'll see if he can retain, his near $1 million price tag. I hope he does. That'd be amazing, but yeah, you kind of have to you rip the band-aid off this week. It's not ideal. Obviously, the thing that happened with Dallin, you lost about 100 odd K, and just didn't work out for you at all. Not to say, I still feel like the thing is it's very hard to trade away someone at low value. Like I think if you were to be buying Dallin right now at 600k, that's a bargain.
Yeah.
But when you're selling him at 600k at 100k loss, it's like far out. Do you need to, or do you just hold him? You just death ride him until he bounces back, because it's going to happen. Like he's going to get a 150 point game eventually. It might be surrounded by a couple of 20s and 30s, but you at least want to have him for that one. So I don't know.
I feel like for me, I'm too far away at the moment. I need to make some big moves now to stay somewhat respectable and make some things happen. So, and the other thing is the Warriors, I thought normally they help us with buy coverage in the first one and stuff, but they don't this year. They actually have the buy that week. So they're not helping either. It's actually, that's another good reason why I'm going to Osaka, because he will be playing. So, yeah, it isn't. I guess it isn't ideal when you put it that way in terms of doing the boost, but I don't feel like I'm using the boost to go to Duncan, I'm using the boost to get a Sarko. So I think that sort of
Yeah.
helps me because of what I said last week. My plan isn't to keep either Smithies or Lane, whoever it is I end up deciding to get rid of. I do want to move on from them quite quickly. And if it's not ideally for the big dog that I was going to be getting, it's to move something else to make happen. I'm kind of okay with that.
Well, thinking about the two of them, I don't have Lane. I haven't had him all year, but I do have Smithies. He's not really in my trade plans, to be honest. I think I'm going to keep him until that round 13 bye. I'm just looking forward to that bye. Smithies plays the Dolphins, so they play at KO. Is that the Raiders' home ground?
No, that's the Dolphins up here. That's a
Dolphins, is it
Redcliffe.
KO? Okay, so that's
Redcliffe
a
ground.
Dolphins home game, and then you look at the Eels, and for round 13 they play the Sharks at Combank. So neither of them, I suppose, are fantastic. I would still probably prefer Smithies though. I don't know. By 13, you would expect Moses to be back too, so you would expect Dylan Brown on the left. Um, you're probably better off actually thinking about it now, just talking out loud. Maybe Lane, considering the whole benefit of him is
I'm going to go
that buy
Lane.
round. Yeah, I
I'm
think
going to
at
go
the end of
Lane.
the day,
It's
you're
going to
probably better
make
off.
it a bit weaker this week, but I'm happy to
Yeah,
cop it.
no, it's fair enough. He's obviously got more upside attacking wise if they can pull their finger out. And by round 13, you would expect, yeah, pretty much a full strength side. Maybe even Gutho's back by then too. So, um, yeah, it's just, yeah, obviously the Raiders are a
I'm
bye this
moving.
week. Yeah, no, it's fair.
I'm
I
going. I'm moving from Smithies. I'll go to Lane. I'll trade Lane out. He
Yeah.
can go and
Well,
get
I'll
stuffed.
be honest with you, man. When I was looking at when I was just humoring myself with that Dave Fafita move, I went straight to Smithies and I thought if I can afford Fafita, because I hadn't done anything, I just popped him in. I said, look, if I can afford Fafita by going Schiller and Smithies out, hands down, I'm doing it. I'm just going to lock it in. I'm about 20K short. I was like, of course, Fafita has to score tries every week and has to retain a 850K price point. Wouldn't have taken much to get that affordable, but it couldn't happen. So it's not going to happen. I'm not boosting.
Yep.
I've only got one boost. Oh, so I have one or two boosts left.
You got two. You'll
I
have one
think I've
above me now.
Yeah, I've got two boosts as well. So I don't plan on using anytime soon. Like I've got Drinkwater and Walsh already. I'm pretty happy with both. They're getting pretty heavily traded in at the moment. I've already got a Zarko. I've got Garrick. I've got Holmes, Cleary, Hines, Crichton, Katoa, Harry Grant now. I might just ride my two boosts out to the buy rounds and use them for 4 trades. That's sort of where I'm thinking I'll go with them. And just do wholesale changes. I think my team is stacked for 13, and for 16 and 19, it's not really there. So I'm pretty sure I'll boost maybe for a 16 and just get my team ready for round 19 as well. And then maybe one late, but that's providing everything
Yeah.
goes well between now and then.
There
Yeah.
there is the deep thoughts of the Supercoach Whiz guys, the coach of the greatest Supercoach team in 2024, just coming at us with these deep and dark fantasies. So
Yeah.
it's
Keeping four
basically what
trades.
gets him going. I think it's fair to say it is actually what gets Jesse going, talking this sort of
Really
stuff.
is.
Now, let's get into the top trades in and out for round 10. Guys, again, on YouTube, make sure you go give us a like, subscribe, all the jazz you know about now. There'll be a little slideshow with the figures and players here. First up, David Armstrong is number one, 10.6%. Obviously, that center wing fullback duel is quite handy as well. Newcastle have a decent draw as well coming up, which I think is also helpful for David Armstrong. But the fact is, he's bottom dollar. He's going to make some money. It simply makes sense because I think a few people are trying to just free up that bit of cash. Probably someone like Bostock, Schiller, etc., which are on the next, even Savage. It automatically frees you up quite a bit of money. So it's very,
Yeah.
very simple as that. Dom Young. Jesse, I'll let you talk about Dom Young because you were big on him last night. You probably already
Yeah.
said everything, but just quickly your thoughts. 7.1% at the moment. You like the fact he's pretty much bottomed out, and he's actually producing some pretty good scores.
Yeah, definitely. Like he's obviously bounced back out of that game where he got sent off. Um, and it's very hard to sort of bounce around that too with a minus what I think he got minus 15. It's going to take like a near a month to get him back. Plus, he was suspended for ages, so it's been a while since that game happened. But this is truly his bottom figure. Like his break even is it's -4, I believe. Yeah, let me find it. -4. He's a gun too. Like he's been the last 2 weeks, he scored 88, 84. He had that 150 game. There was the random little one, the 30-pointer. I think that was against Penrith too, so you can't really look into that one too much. And then obviously the Dogs game is in horrible conditions and he got sent off. So when you actually look at decent games out of him, he's got 150. Round one was a 50-pointer after he's coming back from a neck injury, 88, 84. He's 550K. He's got good buy round coverage, around 13, I think 16 as well. You can't knock it. Like he's got quality about him too, and I think you're doing it if your center wing is in a comfortable position. You've got someone like your Holmes or Garrick or I wouldn't say Mulatalo now. I'd probably get off him, but Azarko's one too. Like you can throw a couple of big boys in there, Lomax, Manu. Like you've got some reliable players that are going to get you a consistent base. I feel like you can roll the dice with Young. I feel like you can even leave him on your bench and play him reserve, or if you're not fancying the matchup, see how you go. But he's got 150s in him. He might have a pretty low floor. He might score 30 without doing any work. But the Roosters look good at the moment. Like they look really good. You're not going to get him 550 ever again, and it could be one of those things where another 2-3 weeks of a couple of consistent 60s, 70s. You might be able to afford someone like Joey Manu quite easily for that Origin cover if he's playing fullback. You know what I mean? Like that's something to just look forward to. But yeah, I've considered it too actually because I was looking at if I just decide to go, you know what, I'm just going to stick with Brayley now as my main hooker. Obviously nothing ideal, but I had Lussick for 10 rounds, so like I can happily put up with Brayley's 30, 40 points. I can go Schiller straight to Dom Young. And then my center wing looks incredible, you know what I mean? And like the upside is definitely there more than spending 650K on a hooker to score me 60 points. Like I'd rather spend 550 on a center who can score 150. For the overall side of things, it just makes complete sense. So that's why I'm not completely locked into that move yet. And it's one trade. I get in Dom Young, I can ride him out for a little bit and so when I need to. But yeah, like he's the clear standout buy of the week next to David Armstrong. If you've got anyone like Bostock's a cash down option. You save 50K doing that move. It's crazy
That's
value.
crazy.
I'm surprised his ownership's not higher this week with more trade-ins. I think maybe that -15 scaring people off, but I'd only look at the games. As biased as it sounds, I would only look at the 3 high-scoring games and say that's actually what he's capable of. The other 3 games, they're either injury affected, suspension, or the Panthers, and you just can't look at them. So I think he's a fantastic buy this week. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still tossing up whether I do it or not.
I think you got your mind made up there. I think you've gone on about him too much to not be getting him in your team. So,
Yeah, I know. It's
I
tricky.
just sort of, for me, it is a tricky sort of price point in a way because it's cheap for him, but it's an annoying sort of price tag for Supercoach at the moment and where we are at in the game in terms of the balancing act. And what I'm trying to sort of say is I think with people's backlines now, it's the guns. They're trying to fill it up with the Garricks, the Asakos, the Manus. There's a number. People probably still have two of us, Sheck, and the like. There's a number of them there. It's just sort of like it's a bit scary in terms of I always on face value just feel like Dom Young isn't a worker. He's not going to get you big base stats. But in saying that, his scores this year, as you said, like the ones he's actually played 80 minutes in have been really, really good. So it's hard to argue with what you're saying. In saying that, there's a guy just below that I'd probably, for a short term gain, I'd probably choose over him just because he scares the living shit out of me. I know how good he is. Suafai Longo, I'm talking about guys, 6.8%, third on this list, getting that fullback position now, while Pappenhausen is out for about 6 weeks, I believe it is. Honestly, in this 6-week period, it would not surprise me if he's averaging around the 90 to 100 mark. He's simply that good. It scares me that I can't fit him in my team at the moment. I just simply can't make it work because I want to get Asako. I I can fully understand him being at 3. Just a quick thoughts on that one because I'm going to group the next couple together.
Yeah.
Jesse?
Yeah, look, I like Falago, man. I think he's a gun. I'm a little worried about how long he might hang around for. You know what I mean? Like just looking into the Storm's draw. Obviously, Pap's going to be out for what 4 to 6 weeks. Um, that means that we're probably going to get. Well, there's a buy round in between there too, so we might see 4, maybe 5 weeks of Sewer. And then I don't know what happens after that. Like, I think that's enough time for him to make some coin. I probably wouldn't jump the gun this week on him unless you just really wanted him. It is a home game against the Sharks, so you just never know. He has got that quality about him too. Like anything can happen at any moment, so he could just brain it and score fucking 150 points. And you're thinking, all right, cool. Next week he's going to be a buy regardless. I have sort of I looked at one of my trade options as budgeting to afford him next week quite easily. Um, if I go for Reece Robson instead of Grant or Marshall King, Robson's only 619. It leaves me with about 80k, which means I can go if I have to. You know, I don't think I'd like to do it, but if I have to go David Armstrong after his cash rise, or even Blaze Talungi, if he doesn't drop too much, I can go straight to Sewer before he gets his price increase. So it's something I've been factoring in as well, because I am very, very keen on him. But again, like job security there is not reliable. It's obviously just a plug until Pap's back. But you just never know, man. Like Pap's been injured so consistently, it could be ages before we see Pap. I hope not. I hope he's back in 4 weeks. But if they decide, he might need a bit more time because things aren't recovering as well, or his leg's still giving him grief. We might see Follow go for like 8 weeks, and obviously he's not going to be chosen through Origin. He could be a fantastic pickup. You just don't want to miss out on any of that cash because like 339 is not bottom dollar. It's still a little bit tricky. Like he's still dearer than I don't know who would you play in there. Like if you've got Burbo in your centers, it's an easy swap. Any of those Raiders guys can go down to him quite comfortably, so it's easy enough to do. Obviously, his trade-in this week is quite high, actually, considering there's no price increases. But I think with the way that things have gone down, I think you're just trying to cash out of a lot of people, especially the Raiders, Bostock, Pappenhausen himself too. The dual position out of him is really great. So, yeah, he's definitely on my radar for next week. I just got to work out a way to do it. Let's hope he hangs
Yeah,
around
no,
longer.
I agree. The next couple, Ruben Garrick and Jermaine Asako, 4 and 5. I think everyone by now, Supercoach wise, knows what's happening with those two. They're increasing cash, they're making cash. They're also scoring quite nicely as well. So they're obvious ones. If you can make it happen, you're getting them in your team if you haven't done so already. At least one of those this week. I feel like it's just simply a priority to have at least one of those in your team if you haven't done so already. Scotty Drinkwater, pretty much how I explained it. I just feel like that's majority of the Ryan Pappenhausen owners. Probably just going up. What is it in the end? It's 50k to go up from Pappy to Scott Drinkwater. So Pappy has done a decent job when you think about it like that, because Trinky has been a super coach star in the past and has had some moments this year. So it's great the fact that you can just go up by 50k, which is very easy this time of year to make that happen. The next guy is the super coach god of the year so far, Angus Crichton. You simply, if how he's not in 100% teams right now, I have no idea. Like you'd just be absolutely spewing
How are you
if
not
you
already
missed
on him?
out.
Oh, I
That's
can't
what I
understand how
mean.
people
It's just
aren't already. I don't know. Like
the
I know
only
you
thing
said
that could have
they want to
scared
play
people was the fact
rule.
that Trent Robinson was always like changing things, but it now
No,
looks like he is set in stone with that back row the way it is.
yeah, I think as far as it goes, like any team would be begging to have an in-form, fit, ready to play Angus Crichton. He was the only player in that side I was confident wouldn't get minutes taken off him. Especially after his second 80-minute big game that he played where he still scored 80 something. I was like, okay, now he's guaranteed in my team. I'm not even gonna take the chance anymore. And that was at about 440k. He'll be mid 800s, mid 900s in 2 weeks' time. Like that's mental. So yeah, look, I'd like to say the ship's already sailed, but it genuinely hasn't yet. If you haven't got him, you must do that now. Like you have to get him in this week. Otherwise, it genuinely is going to be too late, and you're just going to be begging for a bad game out of him for a non-owner. So
The
must.
only annoying thing I'll say now is the fact that he's gone so good lately. I pretty much have him down as a guaranteed New South Wales selection, whether it's starting or on the bench now. And unfortunately,
Fine
we
by
will be
me.
missing out with that with the Origin round. But again, just get him, pick him, stick him. Off you go. Number 8, a guy who's for mine slipped on the radar. I actually had a bit of a look at him this week. I'm going to be honest. Alex Brim, AJ, I was about to say AJ Brimson from the Gold Coast Titans at centre wing to fullback dual, 2.9%. He is steadily making a little bit of money. The only reason I ended up deciding not to go him because Jaden Campbell, I've heard, is like literally just around the corner for being ready once again. And I know how good AJ's going at the moment, but I just feel like Des has said from the start, it's Campbell's position is fullback like for this team. I'm a bit worried how it will happen, like the makeshift of how that works once Jaden Campbell is back. So that's the only reason I did hold off. But for people who argue him in, I can't even say a bad word about the trade because I actually really like him. He's a very much a pod figure for mine.
Oh, immense pod, huge pod. You know, even with the ownership, the trade-ins at the moment, he's traded in by 4,000 people. He's still going to be owned by what, only 6.5, maybe thousand. It's, you know, a few percent, maybe 4 or 5%. It's nothing. Brimson's shown quality in the past. Again, Origin's coming. I expect him to be picked. He seems to always just be in the mix. And then obviously, if he is in the mix for Origin stuff, the Titans buy rounds are just atrocious. So it is a short-term play. He doesn't play around 13, but Origin again probably wouldn't matter. They've got a freaking another Queensland derby in 2 weeks. I can't believe.
We spoke
I
about this
just
last
had a look.
night.
They play the Broncos in round 12. Like
Uh,
fucking, it's just always there's always a Queensland game on. There's only 3 teams up there. 4
or
actually, but yeah. Seems like every week they're playing each other.
uh,
I just bloody hell. But yeah, look, they play. Who is it? They've got Queensland, North Queensland Cowboys, Newcastle Broncos, and then round 13. And then it's not bad really. The South, the Tigers, the Warriors, like they're all, you know, struggling in their own right. So it just depends, man. But it's a huge pod. Obviously, you pay up a little bit for him, but I like it. I really like it. So
yeah,
can't knock
so do
anyone for
I.
doing that. Ballsy play.
The last two, just a couple of Roosters. Again, James Tedesco, obviously a swap with Ryan Papenhuyzen. It's actually a trade down as well, so you'll save yourself just under 60K making that. That's probably the reason why most people have done that. Me personally, I probably would have just made it so I could fit Drinkwater in just because Tedesco is going to be so highly affected, in my opinion, by Origin. You're just not sure what you're going to get. I just would probably not prefer to have Tedesco at the moment. Connor Watson is 10 as well. Again, Victor Radley is back. They've got 3 props on the bench, etc. I'm just not sure Connor Watson will have anywhere near the sort of minutes he has been getting the last few weeks to get the scores that he has. I know he's going to make a little bit of cash straight away, pretty much. I don't know if it's worth chucking him in around that sort of price point.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think so. It's already too tricky to try and manage who gets what minutes in general, unless there's an injury, which there's every chance there could be. You can't ever count that out. I wouldn't bring him in, honestly. I think it just might be a headache. I know the cash is there for him, like he's going to make a shit ton, but he kind of already has made his money in a way. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of if you were going to get him when Radley went down was the perfect scenario for it. You get him in then. Now's kind of the time to sort of reap the benefits and move him on in a week or two. But yeah, I think it's a little too late on that side. Tedesco, I really like the Tedesco trade, to be honest. I think his ownership's low enough that, you know, a lot of people are looking at Drinkwater and like I've had Drinkwater since round 1. So I know the quality for him is there. And I think Drinkwater, as far as the origin period goes, he's not at any risk of getting selected for whatever reason. But um, he's definitely the long term play where Teddy probably won't be. But at 630K with a break even of what? I think is it in the minus again? Oh, it's 1. His break even is 1, where you're getting in Drinkwater at what, 740, so about 100K more with a break even of near 100. you could wait around on Drinkwater if you really wanted to. Obviously, the Gold Coast Titans fixture is incredible, and this is kind of the week you want him for it. So you just rip it off and just get him in anyway. I can highly advise that. But if you needed to cash down, like fuck, Teddy's a great pick. He's a great pickup for it. And I just don't see much going his direction. He's only in 4% of teams currently. Like we spoke about Teddy being a pod, early preseason, and then even early days, like you got onto him pretty quick and had to move him on. It's pretty short memories there. Like he was almost 900k at one point. He was the most informed fullback in the comp. Like he looks fantastic. He's shown it again last
Early
week.
on.
Yeah, very early on. Obviously, he's had a couple of things happen between now and then, but he looked good last week. I think he's going to be solid regardless. And I think for the price, with the break even he's got, yeah, I'd look that direction and just go for the low ownership play because everyone's leaning towards Drinkwater.
Well, listen to the champ, guys. Don't listen to me. So off you go to Drinky. But I'll make one bold prediction. I predict Drinkwater will crack the 100 against the Titans on the weekend. We've got to get to the trade outs, guys, because take you behind the curtains. We're actually doing this risky business, doing it before our live show tonight on the Wednesday night. So we're trying to stuff everything in before we have to kick off. And we've got about 10 minutes to go. So what I'm going to do with the trade outs, I'm not going to get into too much detail with the obvious ones with the injuries and the Raiders players, which we've all agreed on now. It's time to start cashing out on some of those players. We're not going to talk about that. So first off, the first player on the list is clearly Ryan Pappenhausen by a long, long way, 18.1%. Yep. Jack Bostock, people are starting to cash out now with him. He's made his money. He'll probably sit around that sort of price now. That's probably almost his peak. I'd be probably fair to say. So it's probably a good time. I think me and Jesse got a couple of weeks to
100K
too premature. So,
yeah.
But in saying that, look, credit to you if you did keep him. You got that big points against Parramatta, and now you're reaping the benefits. Well done. The next three are just your Raiders players. So James Schiller, Xavier Savage, and Ethan Strange, which we're all agreeing it is time to get off some of these players. You obviously can't get rid of all three at once. It's probably not worth doing a boost and stuff, but at least get one or maybe two out of your team this week. Next, Jesse Arthur's out with an injury as well. So, yeah, time to go for Jesse Arthur's for those that kept him. The next one is worthy of a quick chat. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, 549K. Did just have a little loss of about 11K there, 2.7%. So a decent little number is getting off the Roger Tuivasa-Sheck train. I just want to warn people this. I'm hearing more and more whispers coming out as the weeks go that they lose, that he's going to start to see some time at fullback. And there's increasing pressure, whether it's from inside the club, but it's definitely from the outside, to swap him and C&K around. If that does happen, getting Roger Tuivasa-Sheck at the moment and keeping him in your team at that 549 price packet is an absolute steal. So purely for that alone, and in the hope that it improves. And to be honest, even though he has been scoring awesome, he's still been consistently getting around that 50 sort of points, which I know there's so many outside backs at the moment that are killing it, and you hate to see it. But for a guy that everyone's saying is not going so well, the team's out of form, etc., he's not getting the tries and that, still be getting the points he's getting. As an owner, I'm happy to keep sitting with him.
Yeah. Yeah, so am I. Look, like he's owned by 41%, so you're not missing out on a great deal. Like everyone's kind of in the same boat. His lowest score is 46.
Yeah.
It's not bad. He's not priced at 800K. He's 550.
Yeah.
He started the season priced 530, and he's gone up maybe 10K since then. Like it's a very minor fluctuation. His highest scores were 75, 79, and then everything else has been literally between like 50 and 60. And you can almost bank on a 50, 60 pointer out of him each week. And for his price, it's like, okay, I've got bigger issues. I've got a reliable 50, 60 pointer there just sitting there, and he's priced accordingly. Like it's not like you're having to quickly trade him out while his price is up, or he's fucking shit the bed and he's scoring you 20 points. Like he just doesn't have that floor to him. His floor is literally 50 points. I mean, you surely got bigger fires to put out. If he's your only ticket to a nice upgrade, like if you need to go to a Tuivasa-Sheck to get a Zarko or Manu or Val Holmes potentially, or any of these other big guys, it's like, okay, I understand the play. But it's not urgent for the sake of trading. Like if it's just for the sake of it kind of thing, You've surely got someone else, but yeah, look, he's on my radar to upgrade, but he's definitely not someone I'm trying to rush out of my team.
I agree. Number 8, Morgan Smithies. Well, Jesse has already talked me out of doing that trade, so that'll be one less Supercoach that has traded Morgan Smithies out. I'm moving over to Sean Lane, so probably keep him for now. I don't think he's doing too badly. Clearly, I've been put down the mud for that one. Number 9, Cam Murray injured. That is fair enough. And Joe Chan, people are trying to move Joe Chan on, clearly not getting any minutes off the bench or enough minutes to warrant sticking with the team. Now, thank you to everyone who has got some questions in. Not as many this week. Make sure, guys, you do get in your questions, your teams, etc., because it does make this part of the show and the segment better, and it's exclusive now. We literally just talk purely trades. So the more we can get you guys involved, the better. First off, Ryan.Bell.44, Paps to Garrick. Looks like his only trade this week. Your thoughts on this one, Jesse?
Perhaps the Garrick. Yeah, like I like Garrick. Obviously, his fixtures get hard from now. It's kind of tricky. Obviously, his price is still pretty good. You try and get onto him ideally last week, but you can't talk about that for now. If you're going to be playing him at fullback, I think you might need to look forward and see if you can do something else at fullback and maybe move Garrick into your centres where he's more valuable. But look, if it's your only way to get to him and you really want Garrick this week, I would definitely say so. At the same time, whatever Pap's price is, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's close to a Zarko's if you want to do that. They're both goal kicking centers or wingers and great set of upside to them. I expect Garrick to play fullback in the next few weeks. So yeah, like it's a fair play, man. You have to move Paps on. So yeah, you could do a lot worse than Garrick for sure.
I agree. Next one by Cooper. No trades as of right now except Paps to Drinky. So we've already discussed that because that's one that I'm doing. But is there any advice on what to do with DWZ? Well, I've had my say. I'll let Jesse have a quick say on this one to see his thoughts on DWZ.
I'm just going to quickly check what his break even is because I haven't really looked at him too often. But when someone drops that much cash and people start trading, it's like you're literally going to just do yourself out of any points that he might get. Like I'd be very happy to buy Dallin at sub 500. You know what I mean? His break even is 116. It's like, oh fuck, you know what? That's actually quite high. Just looking at him, he's been very unlucky too. Like he's been so
Yeah.
unlucky not to get tries. He should have had
He
a
could have
penalty
had 2 on
try.
the weekend.
He bombed one pretty bad. It happened the week before as well. I'm pretty sure he bombed one too. And it's just like he's done everything right except put the ball down. So the points are there for him. Like it's not like it's a lack of effort. It's just unlucky. And that's what you can say for the last month for the Warriors. Um, Look, it's either you get off him now and get onto one of these centers that are going to go up in price, like Dom Young will be more than Dallin next week in one round. Um, Same as Garrick, he's already dearer. He's 100K more now, but these guys are already on the way up. So if you want to jump off and ride that train up, fair enough. And maybe when Dallin's price bottoms out, and probably in 2 weeks' time, maybe get back on him for 500K. If I'll be honest with you, man, if Dallin does get down to basically 500K, I'll probably look to buy him in myself because I think the upside is too high for that price. That's why I got Garrick in with a really bad break even because he was already at a price point I'm like very happy with. I think Dallin's price to buy is 500 if you can get close to it. I think we might get close, to be fair, looking at that break even now. Just, yeah, if you've got a better trade, I would say do it. But
Yeah.
you can get
I'm
away
not
with
I'm
not
not
doing it.
ruling I'm not ruling out getting him back either because I know it will click eventually for this Warriors team. There's still a number of weeks of footy remaining around 10, and it's a 27-week comp.
Definitely.
So I've got no doubt the Warriors will start to click. And when they do, you're right. You do want to be on Dallin with Tennis Lesnick for his upside. Next one, Jonah_low. What 2RF would you recommend is a must buy at the moment other than Fafita? This is an interesting one.
It is a really good
To be
question,
honest, with
actually.
the amount of shit that I've been dealing with week to week, I haven't even had a chance to look at any luxury trades in the back row. It's sort of just become my position where I go, all right, I'm just going to stick with basically what I've got. Um,
Yeah. Um,
Top of my head, I just Olaquatu was someone I was looking at, but he's obviously suspension hurt him. I still
Yeah,
think he's looking likely to be chosen in Origin. I know Crichton's put a lot of pressure on him, but I still think between him and Crichton, they'll both be either one starting and one on the bench, vice versa. So that's something to watch out for that. At the moment, I probably wouldn't be getting Olaquatu until that Origin stuff is sorted out. Apart from him and Fafita, who I think are the two obvious ones, Hopgood hasn't done anything too bad. He's continued to be sort of Hop God in a way, consistent. But I don't know, Jesse. Anyone else stick out to you? Because
yeah,
the only one that I do like is Cotter, obviously, but I've got him in my front row, and I wouldn't class him as like a must buy. I just love
no,
the fact that I have him.
yeah, yeah. He's just been that guy, actually, Captain Reliable.
Yeah,
Really, I wanted to get rid of him early on too because he was just bugging me. Um, as far as must-have goes, like, look, Angus Crichton is the only must-have at the moment, I would say.
yeah.
Even with his Origin stuff, if you don't have him, he's the guy. Fafita is a number one too. Like, it's pretty obvious. Everyone gets compared to him. Honestly, man, at the moment, there really isn't that many that are just leaping out as a must-have. Whether it's price point break evens or fixtures or Origin, that kind of stuff, you can get away with a few of them. I like Eli Katoa personally. I think the coverage is great, but again, I wouldn't classify him as must-have or must-buy at the moment. Britton Nakora is a very, very underpriced still.
Yes.
I'm very hot on him. I think obviously the Sharks run gets a little tricky in the next few weeks, and it's going to be a testament to the club if they can win them. I think they've got a good chance of taking out the Miners if they do. But yeah, he's the only one that I
That
could
plays into
consider.
Nakora's hands for mine because that'll straighten the Sharks up quite a bit versus these better teams who
Yeah,
won't let them go out wide as freely as they have been all year. I, I looked at Nakora as well, and I do have. I'm hoping they get through this week. He doesn't go too big or anything like that. And I am looking at Nakora the next couple of weeks because I did notice he was at a very, very juicy price for the caliber of player he is.
yeah. Last week was a week that I was looking at him. He was just under 600. Now he's 614. He's got a break even of 25, which is guaranteed to happen. If not, he might times five that score, like as a break even. So he's going to be expensive again very shortly. As far as they run, I would say if you needed to get a second rower in now and you already had the other guys, I would be going for Nakora as a lock in. I don't think there's anyone else that looks as appealing as him for the price. With the potential, especially playing next to Hines now, everything's going that direction. It's all right hand side. He's going to do most of the work. So he's my guy if you don't have the rest.
I agree. The last one, and we've got about 30 seconds to get this one in. Chris Ross, appreciate it once again. What's your thoughts on going Pappy to Trell in Supercoach this week? My quick answer to that is I'm not touching anything to do with South Sydney at the moment. Whether it's Latrell Mitchell, I know I'm getting Tallis Duncan in. That's purely for a price point factor. That's the only reason why. But if like for outgoing, you're looking for the sort of uptake in points and these attacking players, simply not touching South Sydney.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I can get it though. Like I see the balls play. I've got him in a draft, so I've put him straight back in the team. But it's not. Yeah, I don't know. Shit, 700k. There's better options. Definitely better options. It's just risk. It's immense risk for the reward that you could get out of someone more reliable. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're literally taking an unnecessary risk at just running a fact that he's owned by like not even 2% of Supercoach at the moment. So pod play unbelievable, risk play through the roof. Not not worth it. I like risk, but that's too much. I want to see a couple
I
weeks
agree.
out of him, especially after the amount of time he's been out for, and to the side he's come back to. It's give him at least 1 or 2 weeks.
I agree. Everyone by now, Jesse's horrible at sticking to time limits as well. But we are going. We've got to go. We've got a live show to prepare for and get ready. Hope to talk to a few of you guys on that. You won't know it by now, but yeah, hopefully we have done. We've had a good show. We've killed it as we always do. And if you haven't already, make sure you on Wednesday night, you set your alarm 8:30, Facebook, YouTube. Be able to tune in with us live and get involved with all the talking points. We get a bit fired up. It's great to see. But again, hit that like, subscribe button. However you're either watching or listening, it goes a great way. Does a great deal of helping support the page, and become a Facebook subby, please. See you guys. Hopefully see you in a few minutes.